go. I'm sure like me your level of anticipation grows. I need to write more songs to improve my portfolio. I never know when I might meet an impresario. Let's have a solo. Questions in my life, this one does vex me so. I need the answers so that I can get on with the show. And so I hope you'll tell me, cause I really need to know. The calendar remains unchecked. Is it FAWM yet? Good evening, one and all. Good evening to Array of Emotions. Good evening to Riako Music. And good evening to Will's Robin. Right on time. Thank you very much for joining me on this Sunday evening, the 3rd of January 2021. We have finally seen the back of 2020. And aren't we delighted about them? Array of Emotion says, I've been hearing Twitch is having issues. Good to see it's not affecting anyone. Good, I hope so. Wills Robin says, lol, for once on time. Indeed, thank you very much. On tonight's show, all sorts of interesting things. Lots of stuff to tell you if you're contemplating doing February Album Writing Month, because there's some very important milestones coming up this week and you will need to be aware of them. Also, why is it that loads of idiots have started sharing details of the Boss MT2 Metal Zone online? All will be revealed. Plus, I've got another free synthesizer for you, courtesy of Wobby Wobbit, who said, have you seen this one? And I haven't. So I have now, and I've been playing with it. And it's rather shouty, rather brash, and rather lovely. I also have a bonkers spectral doofer that really messes with your sound, and that one's free as well, so you can play with that. So all will be revealed. I hope you're all enjoying the new year. I hope the new year is bringing you, or is about to bring you, better news than 2020 did. Let's just leave it at that. But happy new year to one and all. So, is it FAWM yet? What is FAWM? February Album Writing Month. It's a songwriting challenge. The idea is there are 28 days in February. You write 14 songs. So one every 2 days. It's about an album's worth of material. Well, I mean, it's more than an album's worth of material these days, thanks to mechanical copyright publishing and limiting the mechanical royalties on tracks off an album to 10 tracks, which is why albums aren't as big as they used to be. But 14 songs, 28 days. You can do it. We've done it for, well, I've been doing this for over a decade now. How do you find out about FAWM? Well, you go over to February Album Writing Month's website, FAWM.org. Please do not go to the .com website. February Album Writing Month. Write 14 songs in 28 days because you can't wait for inspiration. And why have I got the web browser in this ridiculous aspect ratio? Well, I'm showing off. Because if you scroll down to the bottom of the FAWM website, that was my home studio back in 2009. I've still got that chair. Still got the Korg M3 and the JX3P and the Aria Strat and even that Korg D3200 multi-tracker. There it is. Look, it's still there. The JX3P's there and the Korg's there, and I've still got the same door. But yes, so used a photo of my studio for the website, and I'm extremely flattered, rather proud that it's endured for over a decade now, which is rather nice. When does FAWM start? FAWM starts in 29 days, and you've got to get your act together, because Burr Settles, who is chief coder and hacker-in-chief at the February Album Writing Month website, will be resetting the FAWM website this week. What that means is basically, if you go over to your profile on the page, if you used the challenge last year, then all your songs that you did last year and all the comments that FAWM has made thereon and all the posts on your soundboard, they'll all go. They'll all go on Saturday. Now, if you're attached to some comments and you got some nice feedback and you'd like to keep them, worry not. Let me show you a very, very simple way where you can save all of the good stuff that people said to you on the FAWM challenge last year. So let's go back to screen share. This is my profile on the FAWM website. Up at the top, there's a little icon picture of you as a FAWMer with a little triangle next to you. Click on the little triangle. You get a menu. Scroll down, you'll see that one of the menu options says archive. This is important. You need to do this by Saturday, otherwise it'll be too late. So click on archive. What that then gives you is well, it depends how much feedback you've got, but it gives you a text file of all the comments, all the lyrics, everything that you posted on FAWM last year. And all you need to do is right click it, save page as, and then if I just go to one of my many hard drives, we'll just save it as a text document in my text documents file. That'll do there. Save. There you go. So I've now completely backed up my FAWM website from last year. You've got to save your songs separately. It's only going to let you save the text. Everything else will go. I believe if you've donated $25 to support the site and used February Album Writing Month's own server to store your audio files, and let's face it, if you haven't, why haven't you? Because the site needs your support. That's what helps keep it running, and they do also donate to a number of musical charities with stuff that's left over. If you store your stuff on the site, I believe, please correct me if I'm wrong, that you will still be able to access previous year's files in the appropriate directory. But for the moment, assume that the site gets a complete reset, all the forums, all the comments, all the pages, all the songs, everything else goes on Saturday, and the site will be unavailable over the weekend while Burr resets it and makes it all nice and spiffy, ready for 2021. It's gonna be great. So that is February Album Writing Month. That's what you need to do this week. Yes, I did get a bit carried away last week. To start off with, a very silly meme that's been going around. It cropped up in Italy, and somebody in Italy, obviously away with the fairies, has been sharing a circuit diagram claiming that it is the COVID-19 5G chip diagram. However, I'm a musician, and when I see a circuit diagram like that, that has foot switch and input and output, I'm beginning to think, that's a guitar effects pedal. But the giveaway is right there in the middle. It says MT2 gain. Yep, that is the circuit diagram, ladies and gentlemen, for the Boss MT2 Metal Zone guitar effects pedal. Repurposed as apparently a chip that goes inside the COVID-19 virus, or some equally insane rantings of some numpty who thinks that guitar effects pedals are obviously a threat to health. Well, I've got quite a few down here on the floor and I'm not dead yet. But as Ryako Music says, WTF. Absolutely. It's the most metal chip ever, says Array of Emotions, and he's not wrong. So if anybody on your Facebook feed shares that diagram, please enlighten them as to where it's actually from and make appropriately metal, sarcastic comments, please. Okay, how about a free VST wavetable synth with all sorts of special brash, very, very loud, very, very in-your-face presets coming right up? It's called Vital. It launched in November. There are so many of these things going around these days that it is very difficult to keep up to date with them all. But very, very big thank you to Wobby Wobbit, who told me about this one this morning and said, "You've got all the synths. Have you got this one?" And I hadn't. So thank you, Wobby. So what is Vital? Well, as it says there, it's a spectral warping wavetable synth. It's an interesting idea. What they've done is that they've built a very, very clever, very, very easy to understand, very, very easy to operate synthesizer, and they've tiered it. So there's a free tier, which you just download. You don't have to do anything other than create an account with the Vital people, and that lets you download and install a basic version of the synthesizer with, as it says there, 75 presets, 25 different wavetables. Then you can buy the Plus, which gives you 250 presets and 70 wavetables, or you can go the whole hog and buy the Pro for $80, which is 400 more than 400 presets, 150 wavetables, and unlimited text to wavetable. Yes, text to wavetable. That is exactly what I said. We'll come on to that in a minute. You can also subscribe for a measly $5 a month, which gets you first access to new features. Yeah, I mean, you can read it as well as I can. Okay, Chris, enough of that. What does it actually sound like? Okay, well, I've been playing with it today because I've started work on my next album. Remember I said I was going to do an album every month, learning various aspects of Complete 13, which I downloaded in all its 180 gigabytes of glory. In fact, it was more than that, I think. It was a stupid amount of data that took me over a day to download. There's a lot of stuff to play with, and I'm limiting myself because the paradox of choice. The more you've got to choose from, the harder it is to make a decision. So if I just limit myself to X number of instruments from Complete, that means I've got far less choices. I can make my decision quicker, and I can actually learn about individual instruments because I'm doing a deep dive into each instrument each month. So in November, I did the Geometry of Sleep. In December, I did Decembering, where I was learning a couple of the contact play instruments, hybrid keys and ethereal earth. January's going to be about pianos. There are 5 different pianos in Complete 13 that I have, and I've been playing with one of them today, and I'll give you a demo of that in a minute. But we're talking about Vital, aren't we? So let's go back to Ableton and actually open the Vital track on here, and I'm going to solo it, and I'll just play you. I mean, this is just a basic strings patch that I'm using for the middle section of this track. Here we go. And it's very heavily reverbed, so let's get rid of that. It's basic strings. You're thinking, well, that doesn't sound particularly. All my synthesizers sound a bit like that. All right, then. If you're going to be like that, let's fire up Vital and actually change away from the strings section that I'm using here. And I'll pick you one of the other slightly more shouty presets. So you might want to turn your monitors down a bit at this point. See what I mean? Or how about boot screen? It loves overtones, and it seriously changes overtones. This is one of the joys of wavetable synths, because you can do strange things with the harmonic series of a note as the note plays, and it's rather amazing. I hope you're already going, oh, I need that one. So, I mean, who's not going to love a preset that's called digestive trauma? You get the idea. So, yeah, there is a very, very strange ability built into this, where you basically type in text into a text window.
Text to wavetable, text to wavetable, text to wavetable.
And it vocodes what you've just typed.
Text to wavetable, text to wavetable.
How cool is that? And I don't think anybody's answering. Loads of toys to play with. Let's just set that back to the string patch that I was actually using. If I can find it, which of course I can't. What was it called, guys? It was... Bear with me a second while I... See, my memory's just gone completely. And I've only got 75 chords, so... Is this available for Mac or is this a PC only thing, says Riako. I believe it's Mac as well. Yeah, macOS. It's even Ubuntu Linux. So it's platform agnostic. I spent the afternoon playing with Vital and really like it a lot. One of the other things that I downloaded today, and I'll show you that one's website, is something called Stilt. It's kind of it calls itself a linear phase filter. Basically what it does is a very fancy single knob control EQ. So you turn the knob clockwise and it puts the peak of your EQ bell curve further to the right to higher frequencies. Turn the knob to the left and you emphasize the lower frequencies, which, yeah, I can see it's kind of got potential. I dropped it on the piano, which I'm using on his. I'm using Noire, which is a treated grand piano. It's rather lovely. There are some very odd ways of playing it. So there's bowed strings, there are brushed strings, and what that tends to do is add interesting, very high frequency noise to a basic piano sound. So if I play the piano, it's not bad, is it? Not bad. There's a shitload of reverb on that because it's HFO and I put shitloads of reverb on everything. But what I'm going to do, so I've got a sort of EQ on it. Let's turn off the EQ. So that's just the complete instrument and a bit of reverb. So let's find our copy of Stilt and drop it on the track, shall we? There it is. So drop it on there and you get a single control knob, except it's not a single control knob because there are all sorts of things you can play with it. It shifts the spectral stuff, wibbly wobbly, timey wimey of your input signal around a specific frequency. So at the moment I've got this set at 1000 hertz, but you can set it right down to 50 hertz or up to 20k if you so desire. What does it do? Well, it starts off subtle. So now it's applied in the middle position. Let's push the dial to the right. And suddenly you hear all those tapped and bowed stuff. And in fact, the more you push it, the more the low end just disappears completely. How about the low end? And it starts getting very boomy. So it's an interesting effect. I might actually find something I can use it with, so I'm hanging on to it, but it's not really doing what I need it to do in this track. So lots of discussion in the chat. Right, Riako Music is doing her challenge again, VPC. Excellent, good to hear it. So with Kadesh Flow as my vocalist. Nice. Right, I shall look forward to that. But so Mikhail's not doing it this year. Okay, right. A Rev Emotion says it's the Devin way. Sci-fi noises, indeed. Ziltoid's up there at the back watching over me. Noire is very, 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 very quiet. I had to really wind up the complete control output so that I could actually hear what I was doing when I was playing with it. And in the end, I just dropped a very, very brash Waves plugin, which is this one, Audio Track Stereo 2. So it's a multi-band compressor. It's it gives things a bit of an oomph, shall we say. Drop that in, did a bit complete control, dropped some intimate strings in, came up with, I think it was, what was that one? That was, another contact instrument for some French horn ensembles. Few more bits with the vital string section, put a pendulate bass line on, did a whole bunch of other stuff, and went and made myself a cup of tea, came back up here, fired contact up again, and Ableton crashed. So I closed down Ableton and went back to the previous save that I'd done of this track and tried opening that version as well, and Ableton crashed. And I swore a lot and went back and opened the version of the file that I'd saved about half an hour earlier than that and tried opening that, and Ableton crashed. So I lost around about 2 hours of work this afternoon with something that had clearly upset Ableton rather severely, and I have a feeling it's complete control itself, because the number of times where I'll be playing something and I'll do stuff in complete control and then I'll try changing everything and Ableton just stares into space, and eventually I end up just doing the 3-fingered salute, end task in Task Manager and starting again. So I've been submitting quite a few crash reports at the moment. I just hope that Live 11, which comes out, if not this month, then early next month, will be a little bit more stable than Live 10 version 10.1.30 is, because not impressed. But this is what I've managed to resurrect and rebuild from what I can remember doing, sort of, and I'll just carry on from there when whatever. So, fairly dark, fairly weird and threatening and a bit mysterious. And at the moment, that track's called Ripples in the Quantum Sea, because spontaneous grand pianos, what the title means, there is a thing called Boltzmann brains. Let's not go into it now, but basically the idea is that in a universe that lasts for ridiculously long amounts of time, the infinite improbability drive that Douglas Adams talks about is actually what the universe just does when it's bored. And eventually, anything complex enough of atoms will pop spontaneously into existence. Boltzmann brains is basically the idea that a human brain, imagining that it's actually sitting at a desk looking at a computer, is a thing that could spontaneously pop into existence. But that's boring. And one of the people on Robin and Brian's Infinite Monkey Cage said, yeah, but it also means you could get spontaneous grand pianos. And there's my album title. Absolutely. So, as Array of Emotion says, given a long enough time, it'll happen. Yeah, the thing is that the length of time required for the potential of something like that to happen is longer than the foreseeable duration of the universe. Protons will decay into smaller elementary particles faster than a spontaneous grand piano will occur, which is kind of disappointing, to be honest. But fluctuations, ripples, who knows, in the quantum void, in the quantum sea, in the quantum form of quantum foam, haven't really decided yet, but that's kind of track one of my forthcoming January Pay What You Want at headfirstonly.bandcamp.com long playing hour of music or so, and that'll be available towards the end of the month, I suspect. But that's kind of what I'm going to be doing this month. I'm really, though, going to take it a lot slower than I did in December, and just trying to do too much this weekend. I mean, you can hear I'm a bit croaky. Had an absolutely atrocious night's sleep a couple of nights ago, and it's like, yeah, I need to just chill for a bit. So that's what I'm going to be doing this month. I'll be reading, I think. Riako Music says, you've been going pretty hard. Well, I mean, I did release 2 albums last month. Quite how I managed that, I do not know. And of course, I mean, come on, this entire room did not look like this at the beginning of October. It was just after 5090 finished that I started pulling everything to bits, because if you remember, well, I mean, you've seen the opening credits of all my shows. I was under a bed, shoehorned in, rather than having this lovely custom built desk with, you know, pull out keyboard shelf and all the works, and enough room to actually have my monitors positioned in front of me so that I can get a proper stereo image rather than have everything skewed over to one side, which I did on the in the last setup. And if you have a look at that FAWM.org photograph at the bottom of the page, then yeah, you'll see just what a shoehorned mess it was. Riako Music says, it's a nice setup. Thank you. It is indeed. I'm delighted with it. I really am. And it's nice just to be able to have everything within arm's reach. But I mean, I've spent 40 years getting to this point. Spent 15 years just thinking up getting this desk, and it took me 15 years to put to turn this desk from just dreams, pipe dreams, into reality. So yeah, quite a difference. I'm chilling out this month, and what that means is that that's kind of only one of two tracks that I've done since last Thursday, and the other one because it's 2021, it's like, okay, I'm going to change the end credits. So I have completely redone the end credits with another piece of music, which I was bored this morning. So I just wrote another piece of music for the end credits this morning. So you'll get that when the show finishes. Music wise, I will be working on more stuff this week. If you come across any musical VST plugins, especially free stuff, do let me know. I'll feature them on the show. And don't forget to back up your February album writing month adventures using the archive function ready for next month's February album. And if you're watching this thinking, well, why bother February album writing month? It's an amazing community. I've been a part of it now for 12 years. I think I'm 12th or 13th form that I've done will be this year. Just an extraordinary, supportive, nurturing, creative, friendly bunch of people who will listen to your stuff and give you suggestions for making it better. If you want to improve as a musician, if you want to improve as a songwriter, then just writing stuff and keeping it to yourself in your bedroom, even to the point of saying, yeah, well, this song's not exactly finished yet, so I'm not going to share it. FAWM gives that attitude a well-deserved kick up the butt, because the only way you are going to improve is to declare a song finished and then put it out in the wild and see what happens to it. Actually play it to people, actually perform it for people, actually put a recording up on SoundCloud or Bandcamp or FAWM's own servers and get people listening to your stuff. And the number of people who pop up on the chat here desperately trying to get people to listen to their stuff, you've got an open door waiting for you for getting people to listen to your stuff. And they will give you feedback, and they will give you supportive feedback, and you will make friends by taking part, as Ryako Music knows very well, because I think we kind of started FAWM the same year, many moons ago. So I will bid you a very, very good evening. And as I said on Thursday's show, and it seemed amusing at the time, so I'm going to say it again, stay Wayne. So stay well, stay sane, stay safe. Wear a damn mask, please. The new strain of COVID appears to be about 50% more effective at transmitting itself to other people, which means that the R rate, which was at about 0.7, will effectively double to 1.4. So our dear demented clown in chief was saying, well, I think schools are perfectly safe. And the man has an indeterminate number of children. He clearly is not familiar with the fact that small children are ambulatory disease vectors. I think it's telling that of my immediate family, it was those who were primary school teachers who got COVID first. But apparently Boris thinks that magically that doesn't happen. So. And breathe. So, yes, please wear a mask if you're venturing out. If you can avoid venturing it out at all points, Ryako Music says, walking Petri dishes. Children are walking Petri dishes. They will pick up and transmit everything, despite what our wonderful Prime Minister tells us otherwise. So I'm going shopping tomorrow. I'm not looking forward to it. But other than that, I'm just going to stay in here. I'm going to make music, and the music that I share, I will be sharing with you on Thursday night. On Sunday night, it will eventually be up on headfirstonly.bandcamp.com. And it's 29 days until February album writing month starts again, and then we can all go nuts writing songs and making new music and generally making the world a place that doesn't suck quite as much as it did before we started making music. So I hope you are able to be creative. I hope you are well. I hope that the coming week is a productive, safe and nurturing one for you all. But until then, I am going to leave you with a brand new end credits piece of music and a completely revamped, though not really, but at least it's in time to the music, end credit sequence. So until Thursday, have a good one, folks, and I'll see you next time.